Howdy there folks, today I'd like to find out if I can beat Pokemon Moon with only one Lopunny. Starting off, I pick up a Neary and name her Mia, since I won't be starting with a fully evolved Lopunny. Now then, it's time for basic stats. Mia has the Jolly nature, meaning a minus special attack and plus speed, which for an already fast Pokemon seems a bit like overkill. And to add to that fact, her characteristic, impetuous and silly, implies that her highest IV is in speed. And now, on to the next— oh damn! That's a shiny Caterpie! I'm gonna put that sucker in a box and use it on my main save later on. Now then, it's time for a fight against How. I end up losing Mia in this fight due to a combination of static and her having her attack lowered by Charm and Growl, causing me to send out Pearl instead. But I just spam Spring Shot until she dies, though I didn't actually need to win this fight, so that's nice. Next up is the Trainer School, where I need to beat a preschooler with a Bonsai and Copycat. I end up losing to this fight and end up spamming Defense Curl, and so does Bonsai because it has Copycat. But 3 crits end up winning the fight for me. Next up is the teacher who uses a Magnemite, who Mia dies to since she doesn't have any moves other than normal ones. And while level grinding to get this up, I find another shiny Yungoos, and I name him Gumshoe. At level 13, Mia returns and works up twice, then 2 shots Magnemite and 1 shot Meowth. There, that was harder than it should have been. I also looked up the effects of Malasada, and apparently they increase affection, meaning I get to give more to Mia as well so I can get a Lopunny faster. Now then, it's time for Totem Raticate, which is fairly tanky, and even with a workup, it still kills Mia fairly easily. Returning at level 18, Mia one-shots the Rattata after using 2 workups, then eats an Oranberry I gave her to regain some health after a pretty damaging fight. Then she 2-shots Raticate with boosted quick attacks. Now I get my Normalium Z and give it to Mia. I save before the Hollow fight so I don't lose any friendship when I inevitably lose this fight to his fighting type team, so I actually have to level up a bit here as well, so Mia just doesn't get slaughtered. I think I'm gonna go for a Soothe Bell that I found on a previous route and then run around for a bit to get her friendship as high up as I can. So, at level 24, I can have enough to level her up and evolve her into Lopunny. And she also learns Return, which is great. Since her friendship is so high due to the evolution, it'll be doing a fairly high amount of damage. Returning, Mia one-shots Mankey, eats an all-out brawl from Crabrawler, but survives. And then one-shots Makuhita as well. Now then, it's time for Melemele Island. First up is Lana's Trial. You have to run around a bit and, fish and stuff, where I end up finding Totem Wishiwashi, which barely does any damage to Mia. But it does use Soak, which causes Mia to lose her normal typing, meaning its Return no longer does stab, which sucks a lot. However, a hit from a Z normal move does a decent bit of damage, so the Totem's Berry does undo most of it. It then growls a lot at Mia, and after a long, slow fight, she eventually kills both of them. Next up is the Battle Royal, where Mia ends up killing a Butler, then winning as we prepare for Kiawe's trial. It's a memory game, and then a battle with the Totem Salazzle. Mia uses Work Up once, and then a Z normal move and one-shots it. Then a boosted Return one-shots the backup Salandit as well. Now then, for a more difficult one, Mallow's Trial. Totem Lurantis has Solar Blade, which is literally just a physical solar beam. It does an absolute crap ton of damage. I have Mia start out with a Z normal move and take out about half of its HP, and then a few more returns to finish it, which leaves her on just barely any health. Then the Castform comes out and nearly kills her with a few headbutts, but thankfully, Mia survives and kills it. Now then, it's time for the Grand Trial with Olivia. She uses rock types, so Mia's normal moves won't do much, and the only fighting move she has is Jump Kick, which if it misses does damage to herself. She ends up losing on the Lycanroc due to paralysis, though I feel if I had a berry I'd be able to have a better chance of winning. After a few more fails due to luck, I get luckier once more by using Work Up on the Nose Pass, and it only uses 1 Thunder Wave this turn, so Mia doesn't get paralyzed. Next out up is the Boldore, who gets Cute Charm. That's wonderful, but it doesn't really matter, because it still goes down in 2 hits. Mia outspeeds Lycanroc this time because she isn't paralyzed and its Z-move doesn't kill it. Now then, after a brief sidetrack at Aether Paradise, I head up onto Ula'Ula Island in its first trial. But first, I have to take out Melaney, however you say his stupid name, the Steel-type Elite Four member, who is quite tough since Mia's only move that can damage it is Jump Kick, and as you know, if she misses, she takes damage herself. At level 38, I end up returning due to losses previously, and have Mia spam 3 workups and Jump Kick everything to its grave. She ends up critting on Matang as well and killing it easily, and the Dugtrio also goes down easily as well. Now then, Totem Vikavolt. It ends up beating me in a fight because bad paralysis luck and me overestimating its defense. I think I can win this easily, I just need a berry. Next round, Mia still gets paralyzed due to Spark paralyzing, and then a Thunder Wave hits her as well. But since she's so fast, she still manages to outspeed both despite being paralyzed and kill it with 2 returns, and also one-shot the Charjabug. Next up is Guzma. His Golisopod's first impressions hit really hard. So I think I'll need another berry for this fight, since Ariados gets immobilized by Love, but Golisopod returns and annihilates Mia. The next attempt, Guzma doesn't even use first impressions. Instead, Return crits and forces emergency exit, then Ariados comes out, so damage and dies. Golisopod once more comes out. And it doesn't use this really powerful move. Instead, it goes for a sword stance, which leads to it dying. Now then, it's time to go shopping for my third favorite Pokemon, Totem Mimikyu. I lose due to Hypnosis. I give Mia Chesto Berry and go back in. And I lose due to Play Rough, which does a ton of damage. After a lot of failed attempts, I return. I have Mia temporarily learn Charm and then use it 3 times on Mimikyu. Though Mimikyu mimics it and uses it on Mia as well. This makes the damage a lot easier to take, and even with the lowered stages, Mia still does pretty decent damage. And I know I could have learned Brutal Swing for this, so I didn't need to use Foresight, but Mimikyu is the Fairy type, as well as Ghost, so Brutal Swing would just be neutral. I do actually end up winning this fight as well. After that, it's time for Po Town. First up are the Gate Guards, where I bring Pearls to sacrifice herself for Mia. Because it's a forced double battle. Mia is still able to sweep it. Next up is Guzma, and I'm positive I'll lose due to First Impressions, which hits hard as always and always goes first. However, he uses another move instead, so the much faster Mia kills it. I guess I got lucky. Oh well. Next up is Nanu, I believe. His team is full of pushovers, except Persian, which has a Z move that one-shots Mia. Going right back in, Mia foresights the Sableye, I hit it with a super effective jump kick. Then out next is Krokorok, which is hit with the same. Then last, Persian, which fake outs, and then gets crit by a jump kick, and dies. Beautiful. Now then, it's Aether Foundation time. First up is Faba. Oh, he lost. Wow, that was easy. I guess I need to fight my way through this lab now. I go through a few double battles alongside Hao and Gladion, and I end up fighting Faba once more, where Hao keeps using Psychic on Psychic types. Thanks, Hao. We finally get through, after all, to Guzma. Mia dies to him, unfortunately, so I need to go back and either rethink my strategy or just decide to level up. After a few more tries and a bunch of other things, like trying to use Bounce instead of Return, but that didn't work, or just leveling up a lot, but that also didn't work until level 58, where Guzma didn't use First Impressions. Mia two-shot the Glycopod that managed to not die on Pinsir or Masquerain. This actually took quite a few attempts. Now then, Luminine. She opens an Ultra Wormhole, and then kicks Mia's ass pretty thoroughly and disappears through it. Thankfully, I don't need to win this fight to continue on through the story. Next up is Poni Island, and the Kahuna fight with Hapu. And it looks like once more I'm stopped here. Mudsdale is fairly tanky compared to Mia's mediocre attack stat, not to mention her defense, which is just not good. Most attacks deal a lot of damage to Mia. Now I don't want to say how many failed attempts I had during this, but it was a lot. Mudsdale just annihilated Mia. Finally, at level 75, Mia uses Return first and then a Z normal move, just so Hapu doesn't use a potion. The Gastrodon goes down to 2 returns as well as it misses its Muddy Water, and Flygon gets one shot. Now, something we haven't done in ages, a trial. Now then, Totem Kamoo. It used Protect turn 1, stopping Mia's Z move, so I guess I have to restart to get a Protect on another move. Surprisingly, it doesn't use Protect at all. But thankfully, the Z move I use this time doesn't get stopped, and the Totem Pokemon dies instantly. Wonderful. Caesar also goes down to a high jump kick. Thank God. I get my hands on the Dragonium Z. Now then, for another incredibly difficult fight, Lusamine. Through either sheer unluckiness or me just sucking, the Beware with Pain Split made this, well, a pain. There were quite a lot of failed attempts here that all went exactly the same. I ended up leveling up quite a lot just so I could stand a chance against this thing. Eventually, I reached a level where Mia could survive and win. Now then, it's time for Hao. His team is very easy, except Decidueye, which is very strong and obliterates Mia multiple times. I have to replace Return with Brutal Swing, since it'd take 2 returns to kill it alongside a Foresight, so 3 turns total. But Brutal Swing only kills it in 2, thankfully. Now then, that's out of the way. Elite Four time. All but one of them is something bad for Mia. Rock, Fighting, Ghost, and Flying. With Rock resisting, Fighting just annihilating, Ghost also just immune to normal moves, and Flying is just flying, whatever, I don't care about Flying. Starting off is Ace Rolla because I don't want to replace Brutal Swing. Her team is fairly easy, except for Palisand, which does so much damage despite being overleveled by a ton, and kills Mia, as well as Confusion from Sableye. Returning at level 92, Mia uses 2 Brutal Swings against Sableye, Frostlass gets 1 shot, Delmise gets 2 shot, Palisand gets hit with a Dark Pulse, then it Iron Defenses, so a Z Dark move against it, and then Drifblim takes 2 Brutal Swing. Next up is the Rock Elite Four, Olivia. Olivia is so much easier, I win in a single attempt. First up is her Relicanth. It gets 1 shot by a high jump kick. Lycanroc goes down to a single as well, Carbink goes down and a few more due to Reflect, Probopass takes a bit more due to Sturdy and Healing Potions, Golem finally dies after a return and a few turns paralyzed. I use the Z move so Mia doesn't take miss damage. Next up will be Hala. He wins the first few fights easily due to Z moves or barely killing, so I guess I have to level up slightly. Starting off, we have Hariyama, which gets one shot. Then Crabominable, which I use a Z move against, so it goes down in one hit, so it doesn't Z move me in return. Then Primeape also gets one shot. Next up is Beware, which takes Mia's last two jump kicks. Then Outlast is Poliwhirl, and it gets one shot by return. Next up is the Flying Girl, whatever her name is. Skarmory, Mandibuzz, Toucannon, Oricorio, and Crobat are her team. First up is Skarmory, which goes down to 2 jump kicks, then Mandibuzz, which confuses and dies in 2 returns. Next out is Toucannon, which gets 1 shot. Then Oricorio, which harshly lowers Mia's attacks. She dies in 3 hits due to HP restoring moves, and out next is Crobat. I have Mia use her Z move just so I don't have to worry about not killing it in 1 hit. I show up to find the champion seat empty, and when I sit, I find the professor. The Ultra games do this better. Starting off, his Lycanroc goes down to a jump kick. Then Braviary goes next and takes 2 before dying. Ninetales goes down in 1 jump kick, and so does Snorlax. I know Primarina has a Z move, so I use Mia's first. Finally is Magnezone, who has Sturdy, so I have Mia use Return and then hit it with a jump kick. And finally, I've beaten Pokemon Moon with only 1 Lopunny. That was a bit more difficult than I expected, but I really like Gen 7, and I want to do more of this soon. Anywho, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, join my Discord server, and hit that bell notification. There's a lot of stuff you all need to do for me, and thanks for watching.